Hey guys, it's Christine, also known as IvyWinter. Thank you for joining me for another Disney video. Today I'm going to be talking about saving money on your solo trip. So going by yourself, on one end, sounds like it's, less expensive if you're not covering costs of someone else or anything like that, but it can actually be more expensive in some ways because there are certain things that you cannot split costs on. And so you have to learn how to balance out your finances with a solo trip in the best way possible. So I'm going to be talking about ways I save money on my solo trips that I think can be helpful for you guys. Not everything will apply, but I think that keeping these things in mind when you're planning your solo trip is going to make it as inexpensive as possible, which is what I'm always trying to do. Part of the reason why I get to go down as much as I do is that I am a stickler for finding deals, for working through, travel points programs, doing whatever I can to make the actual trip as affordable as possible, which is part of the reason why I got to go solo in July. I was sort of right place, right time, had the annual pass, had some points for flights, and was able to get a great hotel deal. So that made that a pretty easy last minute decision to make. But even if you're not planning last minute and you're actually planning this months in advance, there's definitely ways to save some money. The first thing that I would say is go for the cheapest or at least most affordable for you hotel. This is where you're gonna be spending more money because you are not sharing a room with someone else that you can split it with. If you're with a family, maybe that's different, you're already paying for the room cost. But if you're someone who goes with friends or you just have the ability to split that, whether with a boyfriend, a husband, wife, whatever, it's a little bit different when you're by yourself and now you're paying the full cost of a room for one person. So it does really, really add up. And that's probably where the biggest chunk of change is going to come from, and the biggest change financially from not having people coming with you. So my advice is really, if you're just trying to get down there, go with the cheapest option. Obviously, if you can afford to, stay somewhere really nice, then do it. But chances are that you can't, because this is why you're watching this video on how to save money. So, go with the value. If you want to stay on property, go with the value. All you need is a roof over your head, a bed, AC, that's about it. You don't need to get really fancy. I find that on solo trips, I spend even less time at my hotel. I would like to stop doing that. I would really like to, stay at a moderate maybe and enjoy it a little bit more. But when you're by yourself and you can do whatever you want and schedule however you want, you might find that you are just out in the parks more, out doing other things more. So if you can forego the luxury of a really nice room, go with the cheapest bare bones room at a value. What I find to be the cheapest most consistently, usually of all of the hotels, is All-Star Sports and All-Star Music. Pop still is a little bit higher now with some of the renovations. They might even kick that price up even more. Art of Animation, don't be fooled. It is more like a moderate, it has suites, so like those rooms are a little bit more expensive. For some reason, All-Star Movies tends to be a little bit more pricey, but that isn't always true. I find that music and movies tend to fluctuate which one's more expensive than the other, but for some reason the cheapest one is always sports. I'm not really sure why. I don't know if it's because they often have sports teams when they come down for like games stay at sports, and maybe there's just better deals because they have these bigger groups there. I don't really know why, but I would say 9 times out of 10 All-Star Sports is going to be your cheapest per night resort. So stay there. I highly recommend staying on property if, cost of the room is deterring you and you see something off property that's like maybe $69 a night, cool, but then just remember that you need to figure out a way to get to the parks. Some of these off-site hotels do have shuttles to the parks, so consider that. But if they don't, then you're either spending money on cabs or you're spending money on a rental car. So the savings you might be getting per night probably isn't going to balance out for you. So I still recommend staying on property because you can use the free transportation. And if you're by yourself, it's really easy to do. It's also really easy by yourself to say, hey, that bus line is really long, I'm gonna hop on a boat, or whatever it might be. It's a little harder to make those last minute decisions with bigger groups. When you're by yourself, you can do that. So definitely, if you can, stay on property and take advantage of free transportation, because you might not actually be saving that much more if you go off-site. Another way to save, another big way, is food. Again, if you want to be fancy and have sit-down meals, by all means, but quick service, quick service, quick service. Do a lot of the quick service meals. Take advantage of ordering kid-sized meals. They're not going to stop you. They don't know if you have a kid or not, like that maybe you're not hungry and you're bringing a meal too. They're not going to say anything. So if you're not a big eater, or maybe you like a smaller breakfast or a smaller lunch or whatever it might be, go with the kid-sized meal, which usually still has a pretty decent amount of food, sometimes healthier options. They like to give cool grapes and apple slices on the side. And you pay a few bucks less for, like, I don't know, breakfast, it'll be like one less Mickey waffle. If you think you're not gonna eat like all of the Mickey waffles in the adult size, then just go with the kid size. And again, snacks, you know, stick with the cheaper stuff, fruit, and that kind of stuff. The ice cream and all of that can be a little bit pricier. Somebody actually commented on my healthy eating video, and I apologize, I can't off the top of my head remember the name of who it was, but she mentioned that she buys a bag of clementines, oranges, to bring into the parks. They're cheap, they're easy to bring in. The parks let you bring in food. We've talked about this before. So it's a really easy way to feed yourself, and I guess in her situation, especially feed a whole family when you've got a whole bag of clementines. I guess by yourself, you might get a little sick of clementines, but consider what you can do. A bunch of clementines, a bunch of bananas, having them in the hotel, bringing them as snacks, eating them for breakfast. It's gonna save you a lot of money in the long run. Then the next way you can save some money is, especially if you go down a lot or travel a lot alone or in general, look into flight rewards. And you don't have to get a credit card to do this. A lot of them have free reward programs. I've talked about this before. I'm a huge proponent of JetBlue. JetBlue, for example, has a free point system. It's called the TrueBlue membership. You can sign up for free. You don't have to have a credit card or anything. Then every time you travel on them in a flight, you get points for your flight, which you can use for future flights. What I did end up doing about a year ago was invest in the JetBlue MasterCard. And I did that because I fly them so much, not just for Florida, but in general. There are tiers for that card. There is one that doesn't have a fee. There's one that does. Obviously, the one that does, you get more points. That's the one that I use. You know, it's like double points in restaurants and grocery stores. Sometimes they do specific promotions, like this summer it was double points on gas stations, you know, whatever. That adds up so quick. So if you are looking for a new credit card, you've been in the market for a new one, think about the airline that you fly the most and see if they have one, and likely they do. They almost all do. So I would really recommend doing that if that's a possibility. I'm going to quickly apologize for any noise in the background. My neighbor's kids just came home and are playing outside, so I can't control that very much. They are delightful children, but they are a little bit loud, so I apologize. But anyway, another way to save money is just avoid the merch. Like, you know, especially if you're somebody who does go quite a bit, don't buy the merchandise or all the merchandise that you see when you're down there. Maybe limit yourself to a certain budget, which is a lot easier to do when you're by yourself. You're not with kids who are asking you for anything, or other people who want to go shopping and pull you in, and then you get, you know, sidetracked and kind of like want this and want that. Like, keep yourself to a budget. I find it really helpful to just get like a Visa gift card or something like that, so that that's all you're using. And that's what you do. You can do a Disney gift card. That's really easy. You can get them anywhere on property. And just keep yourself to whatever you've given yourself. And also remember that a lot of merch, not all of it, but a lot of it you can actually buy later on the Disney Parks shopping app. So if there's something that you really love, see if it's on the app. And if it is, wait on it. And if you still really love it, like 3 months later, then order it and have them ship it to you. But don't go for impulse buys with, you know, merchandise. I just, you know, it's gonna cost you a lot of money. It's also gonna cost you packing space when you're trying to get back home and you're trying to figure out where you're putting everything. Lastly, if you are by yourself, and that means flexibility with when you can go, use that as a way to save money. One, wait to book. Like, you don't need to book like months in advance, because what they're going to normally do, the season prior is when they will put out discounts for the next season. So right now we're September 1st, and they are just finishing up their fall discounts, but they just started their winter discounts. So you can book now through, I don't know, sometime in October to take a trip till like December 24th. And then somewhere in December, they're gonna release, you know, discounts for like January, February, March. So if you can wait and then book your hotel at that time, I would suggest doing that. Sometimes it's 20% off, 25% off, 30% off. Usually that's more for the higher level, you know, deluxe resorts. Sometimes you can find a moderate for 30% off, which could make it more affordable and cool that you get to upgrade from that value to a moderate, which is great. But definitely hold off and wait for those discounts. You can look at, there's a great website called Mouse Savers. They talk about all the different discounts down in the parks. They're also really good at predicting when the next round of seasonal discounts are going to come out. So I would follow that if you want to have a better idea. When it comes to tickets, that's a hard thing to save money on, I'll be honest. Even a lot of those like little other websites where you can get a discount, you're only saving $10, $15. I mean, that's another $15 that can go to a quick service meal, so by all means, if you want to do that, do it. I think it's just really planning out your tickets, making sure to park hop. If you are adding park hoppers, like make sure that's part of your plan. Don't pay for park hopper and then not use it. You know, only buy as many days as you need. And again, if you're a frequent visitor, I found the annual pass was just an amazingly helpful way to save money. I also did a video on how much the annual pass was worth it to me, and I saved, I mean, if I didn't buy that pass, I would have spent double in tickets in all of the trips that I took. So if that is something that you can do and buy in a lump sum, you know, it is a bit of a cost up front, but I think it's totally worth it in the end if you know that you're gonna go down. Even if it's 2 times and they're lengthy trips, it's worth it. If it's 3, 4 trips, definitely worth it. Save up the money, buy it all lump sum, you know, and you're gonna save money definitely in the long run. So I think I've covered most of it. We're talking accommodations, flights, food, tickets, merch. If there's another way that you like to save money, and whether that's solo or not, please let me know in the comments below. I would love to hear it. Maybe there's something that I'm missing. I would love to know. I always love to know how to save money. I would also like to know if you have any specific questions about discounts or costs or whatever it might be. You can also let me know in the comments below and I will try to do my best to answer them. I hope you enjoyed this video. Thank you for watching. I hope this is helping you plan your next solo trip. Yeah, and if you guys are watching this on or near Labor Day weekend, I hope you guys have a great weekend. I am heading upstate to my brother's girlfriend's place and I'm really excited about it to kind of just veg out and chill and enjoy the great outdoors for a little bit. So I hope you guys are doing something awesome for your Labor Day weekend as well. If you like this video, like it. If you like me, subscribe. That's all I can ask. And you know, let someone else know about this channel if you think they would benefit from some of my tips and tricks. All right guys, have a great one. Bye.